Hi everybody, Dan and Sarah here again. Get a little more of the build done today. Right now we're just getting the rafters set up in place. I'm going to fasten these with hurricane clips. Pick those up at any hardware store. Not expensive at all. Since I have 7 rafters going across here, I just needed 14 clips, one for top and for bottom. Got all my 2x4s up on top. I did go with the 10-foot lengths of 2x4 so I could have a foot overhang on either side, since the measurements of the building is 8 foot wide by 12 foot deep. Now the measurements that I'm using here is the inside wall is 8 feet, so I wanted a foot overhang on each side. Now that foot overhang is measured from the inside wall, not the outside wall. As you pound the clips into the studs going up, the rafter 2x4s will bounce down a little bit. So as you see, I'm measuring each one after I get the clip set in place on the stud, and then once it's set in place and I have it measured, then I go ahead and I pound the clip to the rafter. This way I have a nice even overhang on top and bottom. Now the hurricane clips have, I think it's 5 holes on both sides. I'm just using 3 of them. It's more than plenty to hold the wood in place. Since the wood, the 2x4s are only 1.5 inches wide, I'm using 1-inch nails. That's plenty to hold them in place and be strong enough. The rafters are at 2-foot centers, so they're centered right above the bottom studs in the wall below. That way I have something to attach the clips to. Now since this wall is only 6 foot high, I can reach this from the ground. Don't need the ladder. Makes it a lot easier. Same principle. Attach the clips to your studs, and then once those are attached, then attach it to your rafter. Goes by pretty quick. Now in between each rafter I will put a 2x4 support from both sides. This keeps the rafters from bowing left or right, which gives it a stronger support in the middle for the plastic panels to go on, which we'll be adding here a little later. Now since the rafters are attached at the very top and have been measured, the bottom just has to be lined up and attached to the wall. Now the front wall is going to be a little different. I am going to be adding a 36-inch wide door. So the measurements from wall to wall on the inside, you minus the 36-inch, and then you minus another 1.5 inches, because there will be a stud from the bottom to the very top rafter, which will be my door frame. So the wall, what's left, has to be cut and built to that size. Same difference. Remember, it's a 6-foot high wall, and you have to subtract the 2x4 on the top and the bottom width, which is 3 inches. So the studs going up will not be 6 foot. Instead of 60 inches, they'll be 57 inch. Once you attach the boards on top and bottom, now you have the, 72 inch, which is 6 foot, cut down. You seen the wall was a little wobbly, but that's okay. It'll stiffen up here once we get all the walls in place. Right now we're just adding the bird blocker, a simple 1x4 piece of wood. Keep the birds out, because there will be a space in between the roof panels and the wall itself. We're just attaching these with 1-inch screws on the top to hold them in place. Doesn't need much. Unfortunately, each one has to be individually measured, because they can vary by a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. My good friend Gary stopped by to give me a hand with this. Makes it go a little faster. Now the roof panels are pretty simple and easy for the most part. The panels come at 12 foot. I only needed 10 foot. So a simple way I found to cut these is with the skill saw, and I added a masonry cutoff blade. There is no teeth on it. It's just a cutoff blade. A simple grinder with the cutoff wheel will work just as fine. You don't want the teeth, it'll tear it up. You want a cutoff wheel. To attach these, my screws are 3/16 in diameter. I used a drill with the drill bit of 5/16 to give me extra room as the heat of the day, cold of the night. These panels and wood will shift a little. So this way it gives the hole a little bit of wiggle room, just so the screw doesn't want to crack the panels. The screws I'm using are roofing screws for, I guess, the sheet metal roofing. They have a rubber washer underneath them, which helps seal over the top of the hole. The pilot hole you're going to put in, you want to make sure that that hole is not bigger in diameter than that rubber washer. Otherwise, you may have leaks. The panels come in 26-inch width, so you'll always have enough to overlap the previous panel and attach the panels in place. You don't want to over tighten the screws. Just get them down there so they're snug and sealed, and everything will be fine. And as you can see, I do have my supports in between the rafters up on the roof, and that's what I'm attaching most of this to, is along that line. Keeps them in place. Now the side walls are the same principle as the roof. We will get them set in place. We will do our pilot hole, and then we will attach the screws. Pretty plain and simple. This wall here is 6 foot. We're only going to go to 4 foot because we will be adding windows also to the top of this. Next time we'll give a tour of what it looks like before we add the windows and get it all dried in. So don't forget to hit that like button, smash that, subscribe. Sarah likes to watch everybody. She does bark at the screen all the time. So until next time, guys, we're going to get this wall done, and I think we're going to call it a day. So y'all take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.